Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach. I own Aspire Action Coach here in the Dayton, Ohio area. And today we're honored to have Ashley Alford here with us. Ashley is an award winning agent with the Buckner Insurance Group here, just a proven leader in the insurance business here in the area, but also an entrepreneur with a couple other business ventures that she owns and is in the process of growing as well. And she's going to go deeper on those as we jump forward. Again, we're excited to have you join us. If this is your first time joining us, we encourage you to go out and check out some of the other interviews that we've dropped on the YouTube channel as well, and also like and share this post so other business leaders can take advantage and enjoy and learn from these sessions. So, Ashley, excited to have you join us here on the Spotlight. Maybe just take a minute, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about what you're doing there at Buckner, and highlight some of your other business ventures.
Yes, hi. I'm happy to be here. I'm Ashley, as you said, and I work at Buckner Insurance. I've been here 18 years in April. Before that, I worked at American Family for 3 years, so I have a pretty large background in insurance. I specialize in trucking insurance here, as well as I do personal and commercial. So we represent multiple companies. We write in several states. And we've been in the Dayton area since 1955, so we're family owned. And then aside from that, I'm part owner of Barracuda Excavation, which will be 3 years old in June. And then I just started a business called the Rookie Project, Custom Rookies, in November, which makes custom sports cards for kids. And then I give a percentage of all sales back into youth sports in the local area.
What do you do in your free time, if you have any?
Well, I also have a 9-year-old son who's in sports, so I don't have a lot of free time. But when I do have free time, I play a lot of pickleball. So,
Okay, pickleball. Oh, lots of
yeah.
excitement there. So, but obviously, boy, juggling multiple businesses, being full time, obviously raising a 9-year-old son as well will keep you busy. And again, I'll note to folks, and she recently was awarded as best insurance agent in the Dayton region as well. So, just outstanding recognition. So maybe take a minute on some of the outside the insurance business, the couple other businesses you have. Talk about your role as the owner there. What's that mean? What's your focus with those?
Yeah, so for Barracuda Excavation, I have a partnership in that. I do a lot of the uh, marketing. I grow the business there. I do our website, all the accounting, the QuickBooks, all of that stuff. And then for Custom Rookies, I'm the sole owner there. And I do all the designing, the marketing, everything there.
Everything.
So
So you wear all the hats on
yes,
that one. Is
all
it?
the hats.
So so maybe take a minute, just talk about who are your target customers in those different lines of business, right?
Yes. So in insurance, everyone has to have insurance. Personal, business, if you own something, everyone's required to have insurance or need insurance. There's always needs. So pretty much everyone is going to be my audience there. And particularly anyone who wants to shop around quite a bit. So since we represent multiple companies, we have the ability to shop every renewal if you need, or as the economy changes, we can just go ahead and automatically shop it. So insurance wise, everyone. And then for excavation, obviously anyone who owns a home, wants to build, anything like that. We do a little bit of land clearing too. So if you're looking at buying some property and want to build a home there. And then on the trading card side, anyone who has a kid in sports. I kind of got more into that as my son started playing sports. I noticed that there's a lot of fees, and the fees continue to go up, and there's a lot of kids who can't afford to play sports strictly because of those fees. And then the schools only can sponsor so many kids to play. So I hate the idea to think that there are kids who just can't afford to play sports and will never get the opportunity. So I kept saying throughout all of our businesses hey, if these really take off, the number one thing I'd want to do is put money back into youth sports. So then my son's end of the year football party came up, and I wanted to make them a really cool gift. So I made them these hologram trading cards with their pictures and their stats, and they're in cool cases and boxes, and the kids loved them. So as the mom started sharing it, I started getting a lot of people asking about it. So I decided to run with that. And like I said, that's fairly new, but I plan to give 10% of all sales back to help cover the fees for the kids who can't afford to play sports, as well as you also need equipment and cleats, and a lot of that stuff's expensive. So even if you got your fees covered, you have some of the kids who can't afford the fancy accessories the other kids have, and I just think youth sports are so important that I hate to think that there are kids who will miss out. So then that's how that came about. So basically, anyone who has a kid in sports or any type of a team who's looking to raise money, fundraising activity, and then you can collect your kids' cards throughout their entire life with all their sports and have their little stats and their height and weight and any awards they got on the back. It's just another collectible.
How interesting! But I wish I had something like that when my kids were younger. That would be a fun collectible to have just around your own
Yes.
kids. So what's the one thing you wish people knew about those various lines of business? Is it
Oh,
something that maybe
well,
is understood or unaware of?
yes. When it comes to insurance, one thing I think that a lot of people maybe misunderstand, or I wish that they knew, it's really important. And I know you're paying for something that's invisible. So it's frustrating because you're like, I'm paying a lot of money for something that I don't use. But I've actually seen throughout all my entire career people who, when they needed it, house fires, when the tornadoes hit Dayton, I actually went down and helped clean up there because I felt, just in the profession that I'm in, it was important to see damage that something like that does, to physically see it. So I know it's frustrating, and we get a lot of grief sometimes when people call to pay their bill or they get an increase, but it is so important, and really you're lucky if you've never had to use it. Or maybe you've had a minor accident, so you've not actually really seen what can happen, but you could lose everything. So say you're paying $1,000 for homeowner's premium. Yes, it's a lot, and yes, there's a risk that nothing's ever going to happen. But if you lost everything, you lost your whole house, to a fire, to a tornado, to anything major, that $1,000 premium is very minimum compared to what you would have to come up with to rebuild that. So I think just a different perspective that I wish people had on it, because like I said, I'm selling something invisible, so so it's kind of hard. And then that's really the biggest part. On the custom rookie side, I feel like I don't know, maybe people don't realize that there's a lot of kids who can't afford to play sports, and that how expensive fees are, or that one little thing like not having cool cleats or accessories that the other kids have could really change confidence in kids, on the sidelines. So I guess just a different perspective, how to kind of look at things.
So, a little shifting gears a little bit, marketing is a key lifeblood for most businesses, but done
Yes.
various different ways. So you with some very different unique lines of business, what have been some of the key marketing channels that you found have worked best in those?
Yes. So actually, that's something that really interests me is marketing. And I think that it changes. It's a lot different now than it used to be. I think your general, postcard mailer. I don't know. I personally don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff because there's usually a lot of bills in the mail. So the mailbox is kind of stressful sometimes. But I think nowadays it's more about marketing yourself. People really want to work with, someone they can relate to, someone that they like. If you have multiple businesses and they like how you are as an insurance agent, they're more than likely going to, like you in excavation, and they're going to like you in marketing and cards and things like that. So aside from social media, I think social media is big. A lot of times now when people want recommendations, they're going to that. and you'll get a ton of comments. Who's everybody's using for insurance? And that post will have 100 people tagged people. Everyone knows an insurance agent, so you have to kind of stand out there, right? And a lot of us represent multiple companies, so that's the biggest thing, I think, is marketing yourself, getting out in the community, meeting a lot of people, and letting people actually see you. So that's why we market our faces a lot. You kind of like to see who's behind the business, not just a name. State Farm and places like that, they show celebrities, but I don't personally know them. I don't know the celebrity. So I don't know. I think when it comes to marketing right now, it's more than ever important to market yourself.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is not going to process your claim when you have the tornado damage your house, right? So
correct. And if you're a Bengals fan, and I'm not going to necessarily pick something because Patrick Mahomes.
So you talked about the importance of like social media and recommendations, ratings, and reviews.
Yeah.
What have been good, strategies that have worked for you to get more of those 5-star type ratings?
Yeah, so I always ask people for reviews, especially, because they'll text, "Thank you so much," and I love to hear that. That makes my job worth it to hear, helping someone else. But it's also great for them to, if you ask for a review, to kind of put that out there. And then I think the biggest thing is people who ask for those recommendations on social media, they do get overwhelmed with a ton of tags. So in those cases, you really want to also message them. Like, you want to take the time to message them, not just like the post that someone tagged you in. That really didn't set you aside. So you want to go take the time to actually message the person who asked and introduce yourself there. I think there's a lot of times where those opportunities are missed strictly because you didn't actually reach out. You just liked the person who tagged it. Well, the person who wrote it's overwhelmed. There's 100 people tagged there. That didn't help them, So I'm always sure to reach out to those people.
So you've got this proven career, award-winning career in insurance, and then all of a sudden you start starting up businesses. So tell me, why did you decide to also now start your own businesses? What's really the driver behind it?
That's something that actually has been with me my entire life. So even when I lived at home, I was still in high school, I was constantly talking to people about businesses and ideas. And it was actually a funny story. When I lived at home, I would get on the internet and research businesses and inventions and ideas that I had. I always had an idea. Something would always spark me to say, like, "Oh, that's great. We should do this. Here's this," And I remember a number called my parents' house, and my dad answered it, and he was like, "Ashley, it's for you." And I'm like, "Who is it?" He's like, "It's someone from the patent office about your invention." And I was in high school and quickly found out that patents are extremely expensive. But I've been like that my entire life. So, I've been here forever. I have no plans to ever leave here. I love insurance. I love helping people, but I just have so many ideas that I've always wanted to do something else constantly, especially on the card side. That's an opportunity I've always wanted to do to help kids and sports. So that's a perfect. And sometimes it's good to just change gears. Sometimes insurance can get really stressful. So designing cards and doing that, is something that is kind of a stress reliever for me. So, and it's positive, to the community.
So as you look over that journey, right, of the insurance and then the business startups, what's been the biggest, roadblock that jumps out in your memory that you've had to overcome, and how did you do that?
Actually, probably one of the biggest things I can think of. So when we started the excavation company, that was the first business that I started, and it's terrifying. One of the biggest roadblocks is just getting over the fact of actually taking the steps to start a business. So something I've talked about my entire life, something I've always been interested in, but when it really came down to it, it's terrifying. You have to file all this stuff. You start finding out all of these things. And when you go talk to, get your LLC, and then you get into the taxes and the accounting for that year and your QuickBooks, and it's just very overwhelming quickly. So I've learned a lot with starting.
Business insurance.
Yes, yes, right. Yeah, in your business insurance, yeah. That's something I already knew about. That part's not scary,
Yeah,
but yeah,
true. That's easy for you.
Yeah, it's taking the step forward. It's a lot. So I learned a lot just from the excavation side, which made the rookies, the custom rookies part a lot easier and a lot less scary. So I think one of the biggest roadblocks was taking a step forward and in doing it. And I think that's what holds a lot of people back a lot of times.
So now flipping that script, right? Looking forward, where do you see this all going in the next 3, 5 years? What's kind of your dream
Oh
goals?
yeah. Well, I'm going to try to hopefully insure everybody in Dayton. I hopefully am going to be the first person anyone thinks of when they need insurance. Um, and on the card side, hopefully there'll be plenty of kids who will get the opportunity to play sports that didn't. And hopefully be able to donate a lot of cleats and equipment to places that need it. So.
Any dream with the excavation business as well?
Yeah, I mean, you always want your business to do well, and on that, grow it to the size that it needs to be. I always think you also don't want to grow too fast in anything either. So
Walk me, talk a little bit more about that of growing too fast. What,
yeah,
what,
so yeah, so that's something that I've also learned is you can have a great idea and you can get overwhelmed very quickly. And for example, in the card business, the first month we got 150 orders. Well, since it's just me with the help of my sister, that's a lot of orders in a month. So I did have to shut off orders to be able to get them done in time for Christmas. And you don't want to have a bad launch. You can have a great idea, and everybody could be interested in it. But if it has a really bad launch, and then you just mess everything up the first round, it's going to be really hard to get those people, to give you a second chance. So I think it's important to grow at the pace, that you need to grow. Not go too fast. Go what makes sense. I've had people who have been like interested in the cards and kind of wanting to grow it big, and just something about it just tells me just do it slow and go at your own pace.
I once had a business leader I worked with commonly would say, "You never have to recover from a great start." Right, and making
Yeah.
sure you get that great launch.
Yes. 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 So I'm putting everything, like I said, that we're working on my website now. So once that is ready, then we'll give it a really great launch. But I just want to make sure everything's in a row and ready to go for that.
So part of that dream going forward, the 3+ years with all those lines of business, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge that you see ahead of you right now? That you're trying to you're gonna have
The
to figure out how to get past.
Yeah, so the economy right now is a big issue when it comes to insurance. There's a lot of companies who are making a lot of different restrictions and changes just due to the fact that their claims they've paid out as costs probably 5 times more than what it did before because the cost to repair cars, everything is a lot higher. So a lot of people that are insured are going to start to see things that maybe they have never seen before, requiring higher deductibles. They're going to be a lot stricter on restrictions for new business, just because they're trying to make sure that they're profitable. On top of that, they're going to have to collect more premium to continue to pay out on claims. So the economy is a big factor in what we're seeing insurance-wise. And then as far same with the excavation company, the economy, there's a lot of people maybe not building houses right now. We've seen, things kind of slow down that way.
Is there any other, when you look at your business, any other areas that you say, hey, this is where I know I'm going to have to invest more time in? People think about marketing, sales, operations, um, any of those other kind of areas you say, hey, that's going to be a bigger need for us?
Um, More than likely operation in some cases because you can't grow and stay the same size. So if you grow how you want to grow, even if you're growing slowly, you have to also have more people to take that on. So you can't do it by yourself, or you go back to you're not going to have a bad launch at that point. You can't, one person can't physically do everything by themselves. So kind of growth there, and what is the easiest way to do things. So If you're really taking a lot of extra time that's unneeded, if there's a quicker way to do it without taking a shortcut. Because I also believe, you got to put in the work, and there is there's no such thing as a shortcut. But anything, like there's programs that make things quicker. Texting is a big thing we've noticed, in insurance. It makes things a lot easier. And a lot of people want to text, so that's quicker. You can multitask while you're texting and getting information that way. So.
Okay. Well, hey, before we jump into the final question of the day, what's the best way for folks to learn more about your various businesses, and how can they best, stay connected with you and follow you?
Yes. So BucknerInsurance.com is where we're at for the insurance, and you can contact me directly through that, as well as anybody else in the office. So if I happen to not be there for some reason, Buckner Insurance was also named the best insurance agency in Dayton, and I couldn't have been the best agent without them. So my sister works here. Everybody, like I said, who's worked here has worked here for over 20 years. I'm 18 years. My sister has been here, I think, over 13 years, and then Brittany has been here 7. So there, and then Barracuda Excavation is at digbarracuda.com. And then my website will be up here in the next week or so, and that's therookieproject.com.
Rookieproject.com.
Yes.
All right. So encourage folks to connect there and follow. There's obviously she's got a lot going on and more to come. So
Yes.
as we wrap here, what is most inspiring to you today? What are you inspired by?
Probably my son. So that's something I've learned throughout all of this, right? Starting a business is very stressful. Sometimes we take on, big accounts here where you have to stay a little bit late, and that's stressful. Your kids are always watching. And I've noticed, even without me sitting down and explaining everything, he sees what you're doing, and he sees the hard work, and he sees, everything that goes into it. And he's kind of asked, his own things. So like I said, he's 9, but he wanted to get into starting vending machines and get a vending machine somewhere that he could stock and run a vending machine. I noticed just little things. He played basketball 2 years ago for the first time, and he was really scared to shoot the ball, right? So we said, hey, buddy, if you shoot the ball, we'll pay you $5 for every basket you make. So that was great. Well, after we made this little deal with him, we noticed that a kid on his team just kept passing him the ball, and he was just shooting. So he ended up with $25 at the end of the game. We're like, that's great. Well, I watched him. We handed him the money, and then he walked over to the kid on their team, Jack, and split the money with him. And I said, what are you doing? And he was like, well, Jack always gets the ball. So I told Jack that I was going to make money on every basket if he would pass me the ball. So he did. He started passing the ball, and Colton made these baskets and got the money and split it. So he basically hired a teammate. And I didn't know, I was impressed, but it's just little things like that. Like, he looks at things a certain way, and that's most inspiring, just to kind of watch somebody who's 9, he's your biggest fan, and he's seeing everything that you're doing and picking up good lessons there. So.
Oh boy, yeah, you just gotta love that. The old story about
Yeah.
the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree, but obviously, I think you're inspiring him as much as he's inspiring you. Yeah, what a fabulous story there. And I think someday in the future we'll be seeing him on the business spotlight.
I think so, at the rate he's going. Yeah.
Well, again, Ashley, thank you for sharing your outstanding story. Your life of wearing so many hats, a leader, award-winning leader with insurance here in the area, but also starting up and running your own businesses and obviously leading your family as well. So great inspirational story for other folks. So thank you for sharing your story. And then for those visitors, viewers here today, again, we encourage you to check out some of the other inspiring messages from the other business leaders on our YouTube channel, and like and share this as well. So I hope you all have a terrific day. Thank you.